Fine. And, well, parents bill that. And then Harry depends about her. I know she's new, but that can be
Can't believe you're sitting no sleeping.
And then those are my new puppies.
It's like a little Rottweiler.
It is.
Oh, nice. I used to have 2 Rottweilers.
Really?
Purebred.
I love them.
Yeah,
And I grew up with Rottweilers.
me too. A male and female brother and sister. My male,
How are we?
his name was Tanis.
I'm doing all right. You feeling okay?
My female baby, Barry, she was 100.
This is not horrible.
I
You're not
called
far
hand
from the house.
signals, and
You
it
can
was
just jump and fly home.
It's a booby trap, don't fall.
Oh, you should as well. The dust and everything else.
You and Nancy, y'all go somewhere else.
I have Wi-Fi access here.
We don't want to.
I got a pen somewhere.
It was good. It's just some of it was, I don't like green chili, so. It's just like it does. I don't know.
All right, ready?
It's like, I don't.
We don't do special, definitely specials.
Right.
We just go straight into business on specials. We do,
Well, some people.
yeah, we do it for a regular. But not for a special. We do it outright.
That and some.
Everybody's giving up enough time as it is. All right.
Support everything. Yes, yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, Travis. I told him he's coming to decorate my house for Christmas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Bill. Oh, wow. And this says it's
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll ask everyone to get seated. We're about to begin. A quick couple housekeeping matters. If you're walking around, please be careful. There's wires on the floor. And this building was not designed for this type of event, so please be careful with the cables. Restrooms. The ladies' restroom is through the double doors right there, last door on the left. Gentlemen, down the other double doors, it'll be on the right. Without further ado, Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick note, Commissioner Zell will be here in about 5 minutes, but we will go ahead and get this started because I know everybody's time is valuable. So we're going to go ahead and call this special meeting of the Chavez County Board of Commissioners here on October 26th. Miss Cindy, do we have a quorum?
Yes, sir, you do.
Okay, thank you. And we'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I'm calling the October 26, 2021 special meeting of Roswell City Council to order. Ms. Call, please call the roll.
Counselor Perry.
Here.
Counselor Moore. Here. Counselor Sanchez is absent. Counselor Stubbs. Here. Counselor Lopez. Not present. Counselor Best. Here. Counselor Roebuck.
Present.
Counselor Kennard is absent. Counselor Foster.
Present.
Counselor Oropesa.
Here.
Mayor Kintai.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
At this time, I'll call on Councilor Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, County Commissioners as well. At this time, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2171.
Councilor, the agenda.
I'm sorry, thank you. I'm really wanting to get there this evening. We do need to approve an agenda. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve agenda as noted on here to also include the closed session as well.
And the removal of item 4.
Removal of item 4. Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the agenda, removing item 4, and a closed session at the conclusion. Do I have a second? I have a second by Councilor Roebuck to approve the agenda, removing item 4 with a closed session at the end of the day. Any discussion or debate on the agenda as presented? Hearing none, I'll ask for a voice vote. A yes or aye approves the agenda as discussed. A no or nay rejects it. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, passes 7-0. Commissioner Cavan, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and we'll go ahead and approve our agenda for the Chavez County Board of Commissioners, and so I'll entertain a motion from one of our commissioners.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. I move that we approve the agenda for October 26, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Dana and a second by Commissioner Taylor to approve today's special meeting agenda with the joint meeting with the City of Roswell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. So real quick today, and I don't know if Councilor Perry wants to start off the discussion on the resolution that we've got before us, or if you want me to start with it.
Well, the plan was that the county commission would take action. Once the conclusion of your action, we will take action. So this is your meeting at this point, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, Commissioners, agenda item 1, resolution. Any questions or discussion about this resolution? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve resolution for the City of Roswell and Chavez County to request funding for the Roswell Air Center.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Dana and a second by Commissioner Taylor to approve this joint resolution between the city and Chavez County to work together on some issues for the Air Center and to gain some funds for this. I know that there are some special numbers for those, and Mr. Williams, do you have that resolution number for us?
Yes, sir, it's
We don't have it on ours.
on there. It's the second number, resolution R21-057, I believe.
That would be 52.
52,
Yes, sir?
Okay,
R21-052.
52.
Okay, our resolution R-2152,
21-052.
052.
21-052. Right. So we have a motion and a second to pass this resolution. Commissioners, any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, we will do a roll call vote on this. Ms. Cindy?
Commissioner Dana,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bilberry,
Yes.
and Commissioner Cavan.
Yes.
It's 4-0, sir.
4-0. Thank you. All right, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. I failed to make an important announcement as to the absence of Councilor Kennard. She gave birth yesterday to Isabella, 5 pounds, 13 ounces, 18 and a half inches. So congratulations to Councilor Kennard, who I believe, yes, let's go ahead and do that. I believe this is the first time a sitting councilor member had given birth while serving on the council. That could be wrong, but I believe that's a historic event. On that note, I will now call on Councilor Perry for item number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can assure you I have not given birth, so she's probably the first there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I would like to make a motion that we, as the City Council, approve Resolution 21-71, a joint resolution of the City of Roswell and Chavez County expressing mutual support for infrastructure development and projects at the Roswell Air Center.
I have a motion by Councilor Perry and a second by Councilor Foster to approve Resolution 21-71. Mr. Nebb, do you want to talk about this?
No, you'll have to let Steve.
Oh, and let the record reflect that at 5:04, Councilor Sanchez joined the meeting.
All right, Mr. Mayor, City Council, County Commissioners, public, this resolution 21-71 is a joint resolution between the City of Roswell and Chavez County in order to show solidarity in the in this asset of the Roswell Air Center. And we are seeking legislative funding to the continued advancement of our Air Center. And so we're here in order to talk about that. The county has placed on their ICIP list $5 million for the benefit of the Air Center. The city is also seeking $5 million for the Air Center. You can see on the slide exactly what we're putting into the resolution. The county is seeking $5 million to extend the existing infrastructure, and the city is seeking $5 million of investments in hangars, warehousing, utility infrastructure, and taxiways. If I mirror exactly what Councilor Roebuck said at Infrastructure Committee yesterday, hangars, hangars, hangars. Going to try to expand that out. This proposed joint resolution would express mutual support of the city and the county for each other's funding requests. So as Councilor Perry provided the catalyst in order to walk through this, the idea is that because we're asking for considerable funding for the Air Center, $10 million is not a lot for this center, but it will go a long way if we can do some fantastic things with it. Is there another slide on this as well too? All right. And so this is just the information to consider the joint resolution 21-71 and R-21-52 expressing mutual support for the infrastructure development projects at the Air Center. Mr. Mayor, City Council, I'll stand for any questions or anything I can do to help with this.
All right. Commissioner, I noted that Commissioner Zell joined you. Do you want to?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was going to ask that for the record, have Cindy note that Commissioner Zell entered at 5:06. And if Commissioner Zell would like to cast his voice vote on this resolution, we would appreciate that.
Aye.
You want to call for Commissioner Zell?
Commissioner Zell?
Aye.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Back to questions and comments, councilors. I have Councilor Oropesa. Thank you for raising your hand. We don't have our vote boxes, so this helps. Councilor Oropesa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, the question that I have, or the concern that I have, there were some issues last time that the county received the $5 million. And so, you know, obviously the city, if the city gets $5 million and the county gets $5 million, obviously the city will disperse those funds as they see fit according to how they're received or the purpose that they're received for. My question is, are we still going to have a MOU with the county if they decide to spend it, or are they going to be able to spend it however they want to here at the airport according to the conditions?
Mayor, City Council, and Councilor, the intent, and of course, we have not walked through it to that level of whether or not we'll need an MOU. What both entities are seeking are $5 million for each entity for out here at the facility. The resolution on the slides, as far as what the layout is, it is all being committed to infrastructure at the Air Center. I think Commissioner Chavez had spoke about their need for getting additional utility line work over to where the new business AVEX is, and assisting with that water and sewer and infrastructure to the neighborhood on the east of the Air Center as well too. So while this provides a benefit to the Air Center, it'll also provide a bigger benefit to the county residents that are right outside of the facility. And so with the city's money, we are looking at some current projects as far as improvement of our space requirements for warehousing and hangars and such. I don't look at these as being any type of a competitive one or the other. I look at it as being an all-inclusive. We're going to do a lot of different work out here. And so whether that takes an MOU or not, it depends a lot on how this funding is going to come forward to us from the state. Again, we've proven in the last go around with the money All it takes is a little cooperation between both entities. We'll do an MOU, we can make it all work. So I don't think there's any fear on anybody. It took us a little longer probably to develop out the process that we utilized, but I have no fear that we've shown that it works, and we've shown that we can get work done together. So that doesn't worry me at all for what we've learned from that point forward. If it takes an MOU, again, I'm happy to do whatever we can in order to get that work done. So I don't see that as being an issue. What I see it is that it's the commitment of both entities for the advancement of this regional asset.
Okay, before we go on, let the record reflect that at 5:11, Councilor Lopez joined us. Also, Councilor Oropesa, if I might add to that, this is capital outlay requests, which means this is reimbursable money. The projects have to be defined in in a legislative action. DFA, Department of Finance and Administration, has to approve the proposed projects prior to them being eligible for reimbursement, and once expenses are incurred, DFA also has the authority and responsibility to approve the expenses prior to reimbursement.
I understand that, Mayor.
Okay.
I truly understand the process. My concern is that is the county going to be able to do their own thing without coming to the city because it's city property? I mean, that was a big issue that happened the last time.
And looking at the last one, the county didn't do their own thing the last go-around either. We worked in partnership in order to get the things accomplished. There was a lot of different discussions going on about how and the process that we would work through. I don't look at it as the county doing their own thing out here. It is city property, so we're going to work together in order to get all of this work done. So I guess I don't look at it as being that problem. It's not like we're going to, toss the keys and say, okay, go out and do something on the air center. We're going to work in partnership with that, and so I don't look at it as the county going and doing their own thing or the city doing their own thing. We're going to list out the projects if we're successful in getting the funding, and then we're going to walk through the entire process in order to get it done. So
I think the answer was no, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to ask you straight out. Does the county have to come to the city to ask how to spend those monies or have permission to spend those monies on certain areas?
I think there has to be an agreement between the two entities in order to spend the money. I'm trying to stay a little bit away from saying that they have to ask permission for the projects. Thank you. No, so I guess I don't look at it as them asking permission. We don't want the county coming onto the city property and doing work all on their own because of liability concerns and all of these different pieces. We have to work together on that. I think the county, when that funding gets on there, and when you look at the resolution, if we can back up the slide a little bit as well too. So the county is seeking $5 million to extend existing infrastructure to the southeast area of the Roswell Air Center. That's the intent. It follows along with what some of the other funds were utilized for. It just expands it out a little bit farther on that corner of the air center. If that project gets completed, then there's another conversation if there's additional money left over or anything. So there has to be this relationship between the two. Again, for the liability issues, we can't just say, yeah, just go out and do what you need to do. So I guess the easy answer is no, and I walked all the way around that to get to the no, but
okay.
The thing is that we are working in partnership with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Councilors, any other councilors' comments? I have Councilor Perry, and I exhaust my list. Councilor Perry, you have the floor.
Yes, sir, but before I make a statement on this, something that I was told by the fire department earlier, if there's any bells that ring or anything, I was told everybody just stay in place so that they can get to what they need to do and get out of here. I just want to start out by saying, number one, just from my conversations with Commissioner Chavez and any of the other commissioners and from my conversations with Mr. Williams, I don't see any desire from them that I have heard of whatsoever to perform things on the property that would not go through proper channels. And so I think that can be rest assured in that. Give just a moment. All right. With that, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say. There we go. I just wanted to make a couple of comments here.
Maybe not.
This is a working station, by the way.
Somebody did this on purpose right when I was going to speak. No, I was kidding.
I did.
All right,
I'm just going to continue, and if everybody can hear me, we'll just go for the best from that. This came about because I think everyone that is present in this room recognizes what kind of gem we have in this air center. We have something that no one else in the state of New Mexico has as a potential. We have something that is not just valuable to the city of Roswell, but also valuable to the Chavez County, also valuable to the counties around us, also valuable to the southeastern end of New Mexico, and significantly valuable to the entire state of New Mexico. The value of what we have here and the potential of what could happen here, there's no one else in the United States of America who has this ability with an airport. I think that from my conversations with our legislators, they see the value of this airport. They see the value of investing in business, investing into opportunities into this airport. I have had the opportunity on many occasions to communicate with the governor's office, and my last conversation was just a month ago. I happened to be in the roundhouse for meetings, and received some communication, went to the 4th floor, and had the opportunity to sit down with some folks from the governor's office. The governor recognizes the potential that we have at this airport. She recognizes that it is not just good for Roswell, that it is good for southeast New Mexico and the entire state. I think that with them seeing this kind of potential, and as well as with us recognizing that the state is going to have significantly more money in the governor's pot, especially to be able to spend this year, and with the recognition of what we have here, they are very interested in seeing what can be accomplished here. Through there being 2 requests of $5 million each, I saw that there was going to be a good need for us to show our legislators, to show the governor, to show the folks here that we represent, that we stand with a unified voice, that we all agree that this air center has the potential to become what we know it can be. So this joint resolution can indeed accomplish that by making a very bold statement that we recognize the need for infrastructure to go towards the business that we have down on that end. We see the potential of how it's going to even benefit the county and the city with water line getting to customers that are on the other side of the road down there. We recognize also, the county is recognizing the potential of adding hangars here, adding infrastructure here, adding to businesses that we currently have. I look out amongst us today and I see folks that are very important to southeast New Mexico. I see one of our legislators here today with this Candy Spencer-Zell. I see Hubert Quintana, who is with us today. I see our economic developer from them, Mike Espiritu, and just so many others that are here, business folks that see the potential, they recognize, they know what can be accomplished if we can just get the funding here and get to work. So I just want to say I think this is a great thing for us to join together and just to tell our community that we're ready to roll forward and to see business growth here at our air center. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I did want to just ask, just out of curiosity, those that are in the audience, those that came because you're in favor of this, I would just sort of like to know, could you raise your hand, let us know you're in favor of this here today? So I think that you can see that we've got a lot of folks here that have come specifically because they see and recognize the potential that this could be. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
all right. Anyone else, councilors? Anyone else? Seeing no one else wishing to speak in this matter, I'll ask for a roll call vote. A yes or aye approves Resolution 21-71 as presented. A no or nay rejects it. Once again, a yes or aye approves Resolution 21-71. A no or nay rejects it. Ms. Call, please call the roll.
Counselor Perry?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez? Yes. Counselor Stubbs? Yes. Counselor Lopez?
Yes.
Counselor Best?
No with an explanation.
Counselor Roebuck?
Yes.
Counselor Foster? Yes. Counselor Oropesa?
Yes.
Motion passes.
8-1.
Correct.
8-1. Counselor Best, you have the floor.
I believe in the Air Center. I always have, ever since I was a little girl. We have strangled it from the beginning, and it continues. I believe that it's important. I believe that the county has good faith in working with the city, and I hope they do. But throughout my whole life, I've seen the good old boy system, and I know you guys don't like me hear me say that, and I'm pretty much blackballed, which is okay by me, and I hope you prove me wrong. I hope you prove me wrong, that you can work with the city and not have to have an MOU, and then it all shuffles down and good, and I would greatly appreciate that. But my faith wavers when it comes to that, and I just hope you prove me wrong, because I've seen years and years of nothing but constant headbutting, and the system hasn't changed over there. I know Roswell has changed because I've watched it grow from 2012 when I became a counselor. It's done nothing but move forward. As fast and as quickly as we can, I've seen the county just stagnate, and it's an ongoing thing, and I hope that you guys will prove me wrong. Thank you.
I have 5:25 as the time per our prior discussion for the purposes of signing the resolution and getting the paperwork handled. We will go into, the city council will go into a 5-minute recess, planning to reconvene at 5:30. Councilors, see Ms. Call on this resolution. We are in recess.
Mr. Mayor, while you guys go into recess, we're going to go ahead and address our agenda item 2. Commissioners, real quick, we have agenda item number 2 on our agenda here for permission to publish for a public hearing to allow public input for redistricting. This meeting will be held on November 9th, 9 a.m., Chavez County Commission Chambers. That day, we're also going to be canvassing the school board elections. Do I hear a motion from any?
I make a motion to have information to publish. For public hearing to allow the public input for redistricting.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Bilberry and a second by Commissioner Zell to publish for a public hearing to allow public input for redistricting to be held on November 9th at 9 a.m. Chavez County Commission Chambers. With that being said, we will adjourn and we will go to sign the joint resolution with the city of Roswell. Thank you, Commissioners. Will.
We need to vote.
All those commissioners in favor of the publishing? Say aye. Any opposed, same. Passes unanimously.
What did the airport committee say? If you invest, the airport advisory committee, if you invest, and we were doing, you have to have it. I hope you don't need it. It's like,
Common sense, protect all parties.
well, it's
And you
law.
have to work to
I think it's law. I mean, goes to show you. Guts. Then we have to. Then we have to adjourn.
No, he already. We'll ask for sure. Sign that.
No, we adjourn. Yeah, I need to.
Parker anywhere to ask him.
You see Parker.
Anything else?
Councilors, let's resume our seats. Councilors, let's resume our seats. We still have agenda items.
You have a few. I know we can. We need more. So, all right, so I'll bring this.
Hey, Parker.
Councilors, let's resume our seats. We do have agenda items.
Well, I was going to try and get as many councilors. I forgot about the more. Just kind of want to take control of this. There's some items here.
Councilors, Councilor Foster, Councilor Perry. We do. Councilor Perry, Councilor Foster. Let's resume our seats.
Yeah, okay. That way I can show you all. Yeah.
Let the record reflect this Roswell City Council is back in session at 5:32. All the councilors are present that were present at the time of recess. We are now, as item number 4 was removed from the agenda at the time of the agenda's approval, we are now on agenda item 5. Councilor Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion that we advertise to hold a public hearing and vote on proposed ordinance 21-11, which will amend Section 217 of the Roswell City Code establishing ward boundaries for advertisement only.
I have a motion by Counselor Perry and a second by Counselor Foster to authorize to have advertisement for a future public hearing and vote on proposed ordinance 21-11. Mr. Patterson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this proposed ordinance would be an amendment to Section 2-17 of our city code, which currently establishes the ward boundaries. The idea here is that Section 1-3-13 of the election code requires redistricting within the same calendar year as we receive the results of the federal census. This statute, 1313, is pretty much brand spanking new. They amended it in the last legislative session, and it came into effect in July. So we are pretty much trying to figure out what it means. There's no guidance from the Secretary of State. Of course, there's no case law. We're pretty much just reading what it says and trying to follow it to the best we can. So right now, it says that we shall redistrict in the same calendar year because we are one of those municipalities that does not have our election at the same time as the local elections that are done by the county. We have our own municipal election. And so under that section, we have to do our redistricting in the same calendar year. And so the statute is written in such a way that it does not take into account when we receive that during the course of the calendar year. So the way it's written right now, if we received it on December 31st, we'd have to redistrict in that calendar year. So we are doing our best to take the information that we get when we get it and develop redistricting proposals that are within the guidelines of state and federal law. So right now, as it is currently set, the proposed ordinance does not change any of the boundaries currently. What we've done is change the designation of the precincts so that they refer to what I'm calling sub-precincts. In other words, if you look at the map, where you have either a ward that goes through an existing precinct or where the city line stops and the precinct as a county designation goes farther, they've got these like sub-precincts which are like 19.2 or 19.002 really. And so what we've done is go in there and amend what's currently our ward boundaries to reflect those sub-precincts so that it more specifically designates where our ward boundaries actually are. So because right now we are still considering, and in fact we've just recently gotten the proposals for different redistricting options, once we have that information from you, we will be able to update the proposed ordinance at the final public hearing in order to reflect what your decision is in terms of redistricting. So with that, we're asking you to authorize to advertise for a public hearing on this proposed ordinance with the understanding that we will probably be adapting it on the basis of further deliberation with regard to which redistricting proposal the council would like to adopt.
All right. Thank you. Councilors, before I go to questions from the council, let me share with you that on November 8th, starting at 4 o'clock, we will have a workshop. We will have a representative from New Mexico Demographics there. They will be able to answer questions from the council. We'll take input from the public at that time. Councilors, also, so you will know how this will go on the 18th. I will call on the Mayor Pro Tem to make the motion to approve Ordinance 2111. I will then call on him to recommend a substitute plan. We have received from New Mexico Demographics plans A, B, C, and D. I anticipate he will recommend one of those 4 as a substitute. At that time, if anyone on the council wishes to amend Plan X, we will entertain that amendment. So we will walk through this very deliberately, very carefully. All that will require votes on any amendments, votes on a substitution, votes on the final ordinance. So we will go through this very carefully. I encourage all to be present on the 8th to get all your questions answered and delve into this as much as possible. With that, any questions on or comments regarding the matter before us, which is only an authorization to advertise for the future public hearing and vote. Councilor Oropesa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. You said that we are mandated, or we are required to do redistricting?
Yes, under section, that was on the previous slide, it's 1-3-13, I think, says that a local governing body which does not hold its election at the regular local election, which would be us, because we hold ours at the municipal election, a local governing body of that sort must redistrict in the same calendar year as we receive the results of the federal decennial census.
Must.
Shall.
Okay. Is there the ability to not to keep the districts the way they are now? Because, and let me explain why. Because if I understand the numbers that came out from the census, and I know they're not official as far as we know, we haven't grown at all to any significant amount. And so if we haven't really grown, then I don't see why the necessity to redistrict.
Councilor, one of the questions is going to be whether there has been any movement of the population within the city boundaries, because the population of the individual wards has to reflect the actual proportion of the population of the whole city within, I think, 5%. And then the other thing that the current ordinance or the statute says is that you shall not split a current precinct unless necessary to comply with law. So so there's two things we'd have to consider. One is, does the current distribution of population, notwithstanding it hasn't changed overall, has it changed within, between wards? And then are there any unlawful precinct splits?
So, Mr. Mayor, can I make a request through the chair, please? If we can have the numbers, the population numbers of each precinct or each ward by precinct of the current system that we have right now, if they can be available for us on November the 8th?
I think can do that. Mr. Nab, will you communicate that to New Mexico Demographics?
Yes, sir. We'll try to have that information ready.
Yeah. I will do everything I can to accommodate you. I think we can do that without too much trouble.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Other questions or comments? All right. This is an authorization to advertise for a future public hearing. As such, it will have a voice vote. A yes or aye authorizes the advertisement for a future public hearing and vote on proposed 21-11. A no or nay rejects it. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, passes 9-0. Next up is item number 6. Councilor Stubbs.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This has to do with the municipal infrastructure reimbursement program that we postponed from our regular council meeting to this one. So in lieu of that being postponed, I move to approve the substitute resolution 21-65 and the program highlights which create and explain the municipal infrastructure reimbursement program.
I have a motion by Councilor Stubbs. Second. And a second by Councilor Foster. Second by Councilor Foster. Motion by Stubbs, second by Foster, to approve Resolution 21-65. Councilor Stubbs, is there some additional?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. I don't mean to complicate all of this, but I also would like to move to amend the motion to also include a few Scribner changes and to reinsert the note section from the original document that was presented at the October 14th, 2021 City Council meeting.
I have a motion by Counselor Stubbs and a second by Counselor Foster to amend the resolution as originally presented.
May I?
Yes, Counselor
Continue.
Stubbs, this floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you can see in your packet, if you look at the red line pages, I think it makes it easier for you, which begin on page 19. And I'll say that Mr. Nebb and Mr. Parker and Mr. Mavers and I met and worked out some of the concerns, at least that I had. And then there have been some additional changes made on page 21, it's more visible, into the notation, which furthers the asterisks on B1 and B2, which are on page 20. So I know that's really confusing, but this looks very similar to the original idea that was in our, like I say, October 14th council packet. You can see the red line changes. Let me talk about that real quickly. Again, if you go back to page 19, you'll see that under the program highlights, we changed the development agreement to be better understood and called it budget encumbrance. Sorry. Number 4, we rewrote again to hopefully be a little easier to understand and explain the intent. We also changed, if you notice, the last wording on number 4, again, page 19. This is allowing us construction that is not completed yet to get into this program, and we had a date of them having to opt in, basically, of 12/31/21, and felt since we were delayed a month or so with getting this to everybody, that we would extend that date to March 31st of 2022. Number 5 is additional language, but it's just added to explain the $10,000 per single family unit, which is at the top of the next page, and the $5,000 per individual multifamily unit. Number 6, we again just tried to make it a little more easy to understand. We reformatted the same information, basically. I do have to say, forgive me, that number 4 under B, public sidewalks, is back in there. I have since been enlightened and learned the reason for the sidewalks being in there, and that's primarily for some of these existing developments that are not complete. So I included that. And then the reason, there's a misnumber? Is that what you're telling me? If you go from 4 to 7, we do. That's some of the Scribner changes that I mentioned. Louder?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Don't ask me to start over. I know you're not going to do that. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so that's part of the Scribner changes. We will change the numbering. The reason for adding back in the original notation, that notation again refers to the page in front of the description of how we're going to handle the mainline water service and the mainline sanitation sewer. And the language from the original that you have in front of you, noted item 6, 10/26/2021, is the original that we had in front of us again on October 14th. So, Mr. Mayor, before I get myself in deeper, I think I'll let Mr. Nebb stand for question.
Very well. Mr. Nebb.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, City Council, Counselor Stubbs did a great job of walking through exactly what happened. I'm going to actually simplify the conversation. Good. I get the easy job for this as well, too. So after the council meeting, we went back and we walked all the way back through this document. The substitute document is just essentially a reformatting of the initial document to make sure that it was easily understood. The changes that were talked about with item B and 4B, we put that back in there because square footage is a calculation that we will use for this market, this program. We also left the sidewalks in there because the one thing that you need to understand with this is that this program can work for existing subdivisions as well too that are not fully built out. So if we have sections of the city that don't have, that need help with the housing but don't have any sidewalks, we have the ability to utilize this program in order to help offset that. The reason we can't get to a complete substitute document from what it is, we had some other pieces in there, and that, as Councilor Stubb alluded to with the note change, when you use the words will or may, they have different connotations in the legal sense. So we wanted to stay with the note and indentations that we may enter into another development agreement if we're going to do oversizing of utility lines of infrastructure. So we may do those development agreements because there's a chance that we can assist when we oversize. If we oversize sidewalks, we actually contribute. Our current policy is that everybody's required for their 5-foot sidewalk, but we're willing to put the other 3 foot to make it an 8-foot sidewalk for recreational type activities. So those are all the differences in there. I wasn't going to run through any of the slides. They're the same slides that we did at the council meeting. I didn't think there was a need for that. Just making sure that you understand that the presented document at the last council meeting, this is essentially the same one. It's just moved around, and the Scribner changes, the grammatical changes, the reformatting is really what we've done with this document. I'll stand for any questions.
All right, before we go any further, let me make sure we have all understand. The document we are going to act upon is found on pages 19 through 21 in the packet, the so-called red line version. In addition, the note at the bottom of page 21 is replaced with the note in this handout. Is that correct, Mr. Patterson?
That is the proposal, but none of this has been voted on yet.
Okay, but that's what we're going to take action on.
Once you vote to approve the amendment, you can take action on it.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what we have before us is a proposal to utilize or to substitute the version 19 through 21 with the note from the handout, replacing the note on page 21. On that action, any discussion or debate? Councilor Orpesa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, the only thing that I need to ask, and I don't know if it's this is a proper time or not, but does this have any impact on the fund that the parks get for playground equipment and so forth?
Mr. Mayor, City Council, Councilor, no, it does not. This does not supplant or replace the impact that a development has upon our park system. So that ordinance resolution, I think it's by ordinance, that's how we've developed that. Yeah, it's in the code. So it does not change that requirement at all.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments on the proposed substitution?
Amendment to the substitution.
Amended substitution.
We haven't adopted the amendment either. We are on the motion to amend the substitute, which also has not been adopted yet.
Okay. I was going to short circuit that, obviously I can't. So the motion to amend is to utilize the note.
So this is altogether going to take 3 votes.
Correct.
Right? First, we vote on the amendment to the substitute. Then we vote on whether to adopt the substitute, and then we vote on the main motion.
Right. So what I'm getting at, the motion to amend, was this note.
Correct, yes.
So this is on a motion to amend the substitute with the language that is the handout page listed item 6 at the top. I will not attempt to read it. I will ask for a voice vote to approve the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, the amendment passes 9-0. We now have an amended substitute resolution. Any discussion or debate on the amended substitute resolution? Any debate or discussion on the amended substitute resolution? Hearing none, I'll ask for a voice vote. A yes or aye approves the substitution. This is not the final action. This is approval of the amended substitution. Just approval of the amended substitution. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, we now have before us for final action an amended substitute resolution. On the amended substitute resolution, is there any further debate or discussion? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote. A yes or aye approves the amended substitute resolution as a final action. A no or nay rejects the amended substitute resolution. Ms. Call the roll.
Counselor Perry?
Aye.
Counselor Moore? Counselor Sanchez?
Yes.
Counselor Stubbs?
Yes.
Counselor Lopez?
Aye.
Counselor Best?
Yes.
Counselor Robeck?
Yes.
Counselor Foster?
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa?
Yes.
Motion passes.
9-0.
Correct.
At this point, ladies and gentlemen, it is 5:55. We will be, strike that. Counselor Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion that the council goes into closed session pursuant to NMSA 1978, 1015-1H7 in order to discuss attorney-client privilege matters relating to pending litigation involving Dean Baldwin, and the same statute relating to personnel matters in the utility billing department.
I have a motion to go into closed session and by Counselor Perry and a second by Counselor Roebuck. Any discussion or debate on the motion to go into closed session? Hearing none, a yes or aye takes us into closed session. A no or nay keeps us in open session. Ms. Call the roll.
Counselor Perry?
Aye.
Counselor Moore? Counselor Sanchez?
Yes.
Counselor Stubbs? Aye. Counselor Lopez?
Aye.
Counselor Best?
Yes.
Counselor Roebuck?
Yes.
Counselor Foster?
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa?
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
I have 5:57 counselors. We will be meeting in the training room down these doors, down those doors over there, straight down. It's to the left. We will convene at 6 p.m.
Oh, and this, all that stuff?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are we missing anybody? I don't think so. Where's Roebuck's over there? All right.
It is 6:50. We are back in open session. Counselor Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the record, the council is back in open session at 6:49. We had a closed session pursuant to NMSA 1978, 1015-1H7, in order to discuss attorney-client privilege matters relating to pending litigation involving Dean Waldron, and same for relating to personnel matters in the utility billing department. No action was taken and no votes were cast.
All right, thank you. Mr. Nebb.
Sir, Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you guys for tonight. I know we're in a little different location, but I want to make sure that I say thank you to Chief Miller and his whole crew at Fire Station 4, the Air Center crew, we did, and IT,
especially
City
IT.
Clerk's office. This is not the easiest thing to do, is to move a building in here, but I think it's really nice for you guys to come out and see this area as well too. So again, I just want to say thank you to the crews for everything that they've done to help welcome us there.
All right, let's give them a hand.
All right. The only other thing I will say is that as we continue to have these special sessions and special meetings and ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings, we will make sure that we send out information to you so that you can kind of update your schedule as best as possible. So we'll keep doing that. Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you for tonight.
Okay, Councilor Perry.
Just wanted to say, of course, we congratulate Councilor Kennard on the birth of her baby, but our manager, Mr. Nebb, and his precious wife, who's here with him, just became grandparents again. So tell us about the newest grandbaby.
We just found out yesterday that they were having one. So you got to understand my son for one. But yes, we had a little baby boy, Owen Wayne, 9 pounds, 4 ounces.
So, congratulations.
We thank you. He'll be joining preschool next week. But yes, thank you.
All right. Councilors, it is 6:50. Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to tell whoever put out that little weekly notice about what was going on, I appreciate it, because that's why I was able to go to all the meetings, and because I don't normally see, my email hadn't been open, and so that's why I went to all the meetings this week, because I had not been getting all these events that everybody was going. I had not been seeing them, so I just wanted to say thank you for that weekly slide or whatever that you put out. I'm sorry for.
Oh, no, that's good. I get what you're saying. All right, I have 6:53. If there's any other business, hearing none, seeing none, we are adjourned. Remember, November 8th, workshop,